This is project number 5, Piet Mondrian Assignment. We're going to do an assignment using vertical and horizontal lines. The materials that you're going to need for this assignment are colored markers, a pencil, a T-square, and your paper needs to be either 8.5 by 11 or larger, whichever you prefer. Lines that are straight up and down, which are vertical, or lines that are across, which are horizontal, both suggest strength and physical and visual balance. Mondrian was an artist who created strong designs with vertical and horizontal lines. When you do this assignment, you'll see that it seems like it's very simple, but a lot of effort, he actually put in a lot of effort in trying to make sure that the lines and the colors were exactly in the right place, that created a very complete composition. Often he took many hours of arranging and moving the colors around to make sure that he had them in just the right place. The strength and simplicity of his work has been an inspiration to many artists, and you'll find it in many, many museums. Early in his career, Mondrian based his paintings on specific natural objects, such as a flower, a tree, or a building. So if you look at his very early work, you can see the progression from what he started with as an abstract artist, and he progressed to this very simplistic abstraction. For Mondrian, abstraction was a long, gradual search for the true reality. It took him almost 20 years to reduce his subject matter to a very few elements: the straight lines, the straight black lines, the flat solid rectangles, and pretty much 3 primary colors on a white background. So in this project, you're going to create a very similar kind of composition. It's abstract, it's vertical and horizontal lines, and you're going to use predominantly the 3 primary colors.
Okay, once I have the design that I am happy with, that I choose, make those lines nice and dark. Please remember, we're talking vertical and horizontal lines primarily. When you find the composition that you like, now it's time to put color to it. Mondrian used primarily basic primary colors, as like red, yellow, and blue. Not that you really need to do that, but he was kind of famous for that. So another selection, smaller colors, smaller shapes. Once you begin to put your color in, I have kind of a trick that I use. If I have paper that's underneath, I want my color to be solid. I'll put my color on. I'm going to use a ruler. I'm going to use my marker. It makes those colors nice and vivid, intense, and that way I don't have to keep going back and forth. Not that that's anything wrong with that. Nice shade of color. Okay, if I pick another color, choose another shape. Let's say, for example, I want to do this section over here. Start with my red. I'm using my ruler as a boundary. That way I can go right off that page. I don't have to worry about the edges. Color is nice and intense. I can control it. I like that. I love being in charge. So here's my color for this one.
As you work on this, think about your focal point. Where is it that you want the viewer's eye to be drawn? Also think about your eye movement, how you're going to move the viewer's eye through your work of art. You also need to consider the balance of positive and negative space. You don't want too much white in your assignment. You might even want to put in some thick dark lines to help break up some of the space that you have and some of the shape that you have.
All right.
Continue working on your project until you have a variety of horizontal and vertical lines and color that appeal to you. You might want to try a couple of different projects with this. Do this two, maybe 3 times until you get one that you really think works really well for you. Remember that you need to have quite a bit of color in there, not too much white.